Chapter 33. The Turning Tide. The revelation of Origin cast a shadow over the safe house. The team's victories, hard-fought and costly, suddenly felt like stepping stones toward something darker, something far more dangerous. For hours, they pored over the flagged files Samira had uncovered, the faint glow of her laptop illuminating their faces as each piece of information deepened the scope of Nemesis's ambitions. The name itself, Origin, carried an ominous weight, a finality that none of them could ignore. Michael stood by the map pinned to the wall, tracing his finger over the coordinates tied to the project. If this is their foundation, we can't give them time to rebuild. We take out Origin, and everything else collapses. His voice was steady, but there was an urgency in his tone that underscored the gravity of the mission. Gabriel leaned against the table, his expression skeptical. And what exactly are we dealing with? All we have are fragments. No clear picture, just the name and a lot of ominous buzzwords. For all we know, this could be another diversion. That's why we dig deeper, Samira said, her fingers flying over her keyboard. Her focus never wavered, even as the tension in the room thickened. I've already isolated a command log tied to Origin. If I can decrypt it, we'll know where the core facility is and what they're hiding. Anderson crossed his arms, his brow furrowed as he glanced between the screen and the team. We're running low on time and resources. Whatever this is, we can't afford another misstep. If Origin's as big as it sounds, they'll defend it with everything they've got. We'll be walking into a fortress. Michael turned from the map, his gaze steady and unyielding. Then we'll bring everything we've got. This is the end game. If we don't take this chance, there won't be another. His words carried a finality that silenced any remaining doubts in the room. The facility tied to Origin was nestled in the heart of a mountainous region, surrounded by dense forests and treacherous terrain. Satellite images revealed a massive complex, its stark geometric architecture blending into the rocky landscape. The approach would be difficult, the defenses even more so. The team spent the next 2 days preparing. Every detail of the mission was scrutinized, every contingency planned. Anderson reconfigured their gear, ensuring they had enough firepower and explosives to breach the facility. He worked in silence, his focus razor sharp. Samira worked tirelessly to monitor Nemesis's communications, ensuring their approach wouldn't be detected. Gabriel cleaned his rifle with meticulous care, his quiet focus speaking to the gravity of the task ahead. Michael alternated between the map and his notes, refining their strategy with methodical precision. On the third night, they set out. The van's headlights cut through the darkness as they navigated winding mountain roads. Inside, the tension was palpable. No one spoke. Their thoughts. Consumed by the enormity of the mission, the sound of the tires on gravel was a steady rhythm, matching the pulse of their anticipation. They parked the van several kilometers from the facility, continuing on foot through the forest. The cold night air bit at their skin, and the faint crunch of leaves underfoot was the only sound breaking the silence. The dense trees provided cover, but every shadow felt alive, every rustle a potential threat. Michael led the way, his eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of patrols. When they reached the facility's perimeter, they crouched behind a ridge, surveying the compound below. Floodlights swept the area, casting long shadows over the high fences and watchtowers. Guards moved in tight formations, their movements disciplined and deliberate. The facility exuded an aura of impenetrability, but the team had faced worse odds before. Samira pulled out her tablet, her voice barely above a whisper. Surveillance systems are running on a rotating frequency. If I jam them now, we'll have 5 minutes before they reset. Michael nodded. That's all we need. Gabriel, take out the watchtower. Anderson, prep the charges for the east gate. Samira, stay with me. Gabriel smirked faintly, already lining up his shot, just like old times. The operation began with surgical precision. Gabriel's shot silenced the guard in the watchtower, the body slumping out of sight. Anderson planted the charges at the gate, his movements quick and deliberate. When the explosion tore through the silence, the team moved as one, slipping through the breach before the dust settled. The air filled with the acrid scent of explosives as alarms blared across the compound. Inside, the facility was a maze of sterile hallways and reinforced doors. Samira's tablet guided them toward the central chamber, her hacking skills bypassing locks and disabling alarms. The deeper they went, the louder the hum of machinery became, a low rhythmic pulse that seemed to echo in their bones. Each step felt heavier, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. "We're close," Samira said, her voice tight with focus. "The central core is just ahead." Michael raised a fist, signaling the team to halt. Ahead, a group of guards stood outside a massive steel door, their weapons at the ready. He motioned for Gabriel and Anderson to flank them, his own weapon steady as he prepared for the confrontation. The firefight was swift and brutal. The guards were well trained, their movements coordinated, but the team's precision and cohesion proved superior. Gabriel's rifle barked with deadly accuracy, each shot finding its mark. Anderson's grenades created chaos, forcing the guards into disarray. When the last guard fell, Michael turned to Samira. "You're up." Samira approached the door, her tablet connected to the control panel. She worked quickly, her brow furrowed in concentration. The door hissed open moments later, revealing a vast chamber filled with towering servers and glowing terminals. At the center stood a single console, its screen displaying the Nemesis logo above a line of text, "Origin, activation in progress." "They're starting it," Samira said, her voice urgent. "I need time to shut it down." Michael and Gabriel took defensive positions by the entrance, their weapons trained on the hallway. Anderson moved to help Samira, his own expertise speeding up the process. Every second felt like an eternity as the sound of boots on metal echoed from the corridor. Reinforcements were coming. "We've got company," Gabriel muttered, his grip tightening on his rifle. Michael's voice was steady. "Hold the line. Samira, how much longer?" 2 minutes, she replied, her fingers flying over the keyboard. The firefight that followed was a cacophony of gunfire and shouted orders. Sparks flew as bullets ricocheted off metal walls, and the acrid smell of smoke filled the air. The team fought with everything they had, their determination outweighing their exhaustion. Gabriel's calm precision and Anderson's relentless suppression fire kept the reinforcements at bay. "Done," Samira shouted, disconnecting her tablet. "Origin is offline. I've wiped the activation protocols." Michael nodded, his focus unbroken. "Then we're done here. Fall back." The retreat was a blur of movement and gunfire. The team navigated the labyrinthine corridors, their steps quick and purposeful. By the time they emerged into the night, the facility behind them was in chaos, alarms blaring as flames began to consume the structure. They didn't stop running until they reached the van. Anderson floored the accelerator, the vehicle speeding down the mountain road as the glow of the burning facility faded into the distance. Back at the safe house, the team sat in silence, the weight of their mission settling over them. Samira finally broke the quiet, her voice soft but resolute. "It's done. Origin is gone." Michael leaned against the wall, his expression unreadable. "Nemesis won't recover from this. Whatever comes next, it'll be weaker, scattered." Gabriel let out a long breath, his exhaustion evident. "We actually did it. We stopped them." Michael glanced at each of them, his voice steady. "We did more than stop them. We gave the world a chance to fight back." For the first time in weeks, the safe house felt lighter, the oppressive weight of Nemesis's shadow lifting. They had won a victory that mattered, and for now, that was enough.